Have you heard of a permeable gut? A lot of people don't even imagine what it is, but it may be behind symptoms that seem common in everyday life. A stuffed belly, allergies that come out of nowhere, tiredness that does not pass, and even difficulty losing weight. And here comes the big question. Can you reverse it? Or is it just another myth that circulates over the internet? In today's video, I will show you the 6 science-proven habits that help you recover your intestines' health and close these open doors that are leaving your body vulnerable. But before you dive into these habits, you need to understand very clearly what this syndrome is. And I promise, in less than a minute, you will see your gut in a completely different way. Imagine that your gut is like a wall of bricks. This wall is responsible for separating everything inside the digestive tract from the rest of the body. Between each brick, there is a special cement called firm junctions. When this wall is well built, they only pass through the nutrients that the body really needs: vitamins, minerals, amino acids, glucose, good fats. It is like a condominium concierge, which only lets in those who have permission. Now, the problem happens when this wall begins to have cracks. The junctions come loose, the cement becomes fragile, and suddenly they begin to pass things that should not pass. Pieces of poorly digested foods, bacteria, toxins, chemicals that came to the ultra-processed. All of this falls directly into the bloodstream. This is where the body goes on alert, as if it was being invaded. When this happens, the immune system responds with inflammation. And this inflammation is not only in the gut. It can spread, affect the skin, joints, the brain. This is why permeable bowel syndrome is associated with such different symptoms, from acne to migraine, from fatigue to anxiety. It is no exaggeration to say that a sick gut can influence your whole life. Before you finish, I want to show you something that will turn the way you take care of your gut once and for all. I have prepared a completely free digital ebook full of practical tips, proven habits, and strategies that you cannot easily find anywhere else. This guide was made for people who want real results, without curling, applying simple habits that strengthen their intestines, reduce inflammation, and increase their energy in everyday life. It's like having a step-by-step map to rebuild your gut and improve your health from the inside out. Best of all, it's 100% free, but only if you click the link that is set in the comments right now. Be sure to later, because each passing day is one more day your gut is vulnerable. Imagine waking up feeling less swelling, more disposition, and with digestion working in a balanced way. This ebook will give you just that. So click on the fixed link, download your free ebook right now, and start applying these strategies today. Each tip is based on science and designed for you to see real results. Do not miss this opportunity to transform your intestinal health in a practical and accessible way. Also think about the intestine as a sieve. A healthy sieve has small holes. Only thin flour passes, the rest is retained. But when this sieve is old, with bigger holes, everything goes anyway. This is exactly what happens in permeable bowel syndrome. The barrier loses selectivity. The intestine is no longer an intelligent filter and becomes a pierced sieve. And the most curious thing is that it doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow process, built over years. Small habits are weakening the intestinal barrier. Eating a lot of sugar, excess alcohol, lack of fiber, constant stress, few hours of sleep, repeated use of antibiotics and anti-inflammatory drugs. Each of these factors is like a hammer that cracks the wall. In the beginning, the body can even notice, but when aggression is continuous, there comes a time when the wall no longer realizes and the doors are open. Now here's an important point. Not all doctors agree to call this permeable intestine syndrome. Some say it is too popular, that the correct name is increased intestinal permeability. Still others question whether this condition should be considered a disease by itself or just an effect of other diseases. But regardless of the name, science has shown in several studies that yes, intestinal permeability exists and may be related to real health problems. A classic example comes from research with autoimmune diseases, such as celiac disease and Crohn's disease. Under these conditions, scientists have observed that intestinal wall junctions are really loose. This facilitates the passage of unwanted substances, which end up activating even more the immune system. It is like a vicious circle. The more permeable the gut, the more inflammation. And the more inflammation, the more the intestine becomes permeable. And it's not just in serious diseases that it appears. Recent studies already show relationship between intestinal permeability and common paintings such as obesity, insulin resistance, depression, and even irritable bowel syndrome. That is, what seemed before a distant theory, today is increasingly recognized as a central factor for health. Now you may be thinking, okay, I understand that the permeable bowel exists and can generate several problems, but how do I know if this is happening to me? This is a great question. The signs are not specific, but some draw attention. Frequent swelling after meals, sensitivity to various foods, recurring diarrhea or constipation, excessive tiredness, allergies or skin inflammation that do not improve with common treatments. None of these isolated symptoms prove that you have a permeable gut, but when they appear together, it is worth turning on the alert. The good news is that the body has incredible regeneration capacity. Just as the skin heals after a cut, the intestine can also recover when it receives the right stimuli. And that is precisely what we will explore in the next few chapters. What are the 6 science-based habits that strengthen this barrier and help you close the cracks in this intestinal wall? But before talking about habits, it is important to overthrow some myths. After all, when it comes to permeable bowel, what exists most are miraculous promises and conflicting information. So in the next chapter, I will show you the main controversies on this topic and what science really knows. When it comes to permeable bowel, the confusion is huge. If you look on Google or on social networks, you will find it from doctors saying that this has not even sworn people who cured all diseases just taking a single supplement. This mixture of exaggerations and denials is what makes many people lost, not knowing who to trust. One of the most common myths is that permeable bowel would be just an invention of the supplement industry to sell miraculous products. In fact, there is a lot of marketing by exploring this name, but that does not change the scientific reality. It is already proven that the intestinal barrier can become more permeable in various clinical conditions. The difference is that there is no single magic tablet that can solve everything. What really works is a set of consistent habits that strengthen this intestinal wall over time. Another controversial point is that some professionals say that only people with autoimmune diseases have increased intestinal permeability. But recent research shows that even seemingly healthy individuals may have this picture, especially when they live under much stress, have ultra-processed diet, or use certain drugs for a long time. That is, no serious disease is required to start taking care of the health of the intestine. It is also common to hear that just cut gluten and lactose to solve all problems. It is true that some people feel improvement by reducing these foods, but that does not mean that they are the universal cause of intestinal permeability. Each organism reacts in a way. What science shows is that excess refined sugars, alcohol, and ultra-processed foods have a much clearer impact on inflammation of the intestinal mucosa. And here is another controversy. Many people believe that just take expensive probiotics to close the holes of the intestine. Not quite. Probiotics can help, but they work much better when combined with prebiotic fibers, which serve as food for good bacteria. Without these fibers, probiotics are like seeds thrown on the asphalt. They even germinate, but do not thrive. These confusions happen because the theme is still relatively new in science. Many studies are recent, and there are no definitive answers to all questions yet. But one thing is already clear. The permeable gut is not myth, and taking care of it does not require miracles, but well-chosen daily habits. By the way, before we advance to the 6 habits that really make a difference, let me ask you a fast thing. If this content has already helped you better understand what myth is and what is true, now click the button to subscribe here below, so you don't lose next videos and still help me bring serious information to more people. In the next chapter, let's talk about the most important point: which habits really strengthen the gut and how you can apply them in everyday life without complication. This is the heart of the video, so stay with me because now the practical part begins. The time has come for the practical part. So far, you have understood what the intestine is, permeava L, how it works, and what controversies are that confuse many people. Now let's go straight to the habits that really help recover this barrier and return balance to your body. Habit 1. Reduce to maximum ultra-processed and sugars. The first step seems obvious, but it is the most powerful. To reduce the consumption of ultra-processed products and refined sugars. These foods inflame the intestine, feed the bad bacteria, and make the intestinal wall increasingly fragile. It is like throwing gasoline into the fire of inflammation. You don't have to cut it all at once, nor live a life without pleasure. But gradually reduce it already has a huge effect. Change the lunch soda with lemon water, replace the cookie stuffed with a fruit, or even put the coffee sugar aside a few times a week are already attitudes that give the gut rest. Repeated small changes every day have a much greater impact than you might think. And look, if this tip has made sense to you, enjoy now and click the like button down here. This helps YouTube show this video to more people who also need to take care of intestinal health. Habit 2. Prioritize prebiotic fibers. The second step is to feed the good bacteria that live in your intestine. And do you know what they like most? Of prebiotic fibers. Those that are not digested by you, but serve as food for your microbiota. Green banana, oats, flaxseed, garlic, onion, asparagus, and even cooked sweet potato and then cold are rich examples in prebiotics. When you include these foods on a daily basis, good bacteria are strengthened, produce anti-inflammatory substances, and help close the intestinal wall cracks. It is as if you have an army of bricklayers working within you, rebuilding the brick intestinal wall. Without these fibers, the intestine has no repair material and permeability only gets worse. These first two habits are already able to start a silent revolution within your body. And in the next chapter, I will show you two other fundamental steps. Like probiotics and reducing the exaggerated use of certain medications can transform your gut. We have already talked about cutting ultra-processed and including prebiotic fibers, the first two steps of this journey. Now it's time to complete arsenal with 4 habits that together close the gut doors once and for all. Habit 3. Consume probiotics. After feeding the good bacteria, it's time to reinforce the army with new soldiers, probiotics. They help balance the intestinal flora and strengthen the barrier against toxins and inflammation. But here is an important detail. It is not about buying the most expensive supplement of the pharmacy. Often the solution is in simple foods like natural yogurt, kefir, kombucha, and fermented vegetables. The secret is in constancy, not the exaggerated dose. Probiotics work better when they find fertile ground, and this ground is the prebiotic fibers we already talked about. Habit 4. Use conscious medicines. Antibiotics and anti-inflammatory drugs are like two-edged knives. Save lives when used in the right way, but in excess can devastate the microbiota and irritate the intestinal wall. Antibiotics, for example, kill both bad and good bacteria, leaving the gut vulnerable. Anti-inflammatory drugs, when used frequently, function as sandpaper scraping the mucosa. Therefore, the rule is clear. No self-medication and always talk to your doctor before using it. Habit 5. Taking care of sleep. Few people can imagine, but a vault night can completely mess up the intestine. When you sleep well, your body activates repair processes that include the intestinal mucosa. Without quality sleep, inflammation increases, the barrier becomes more fragile, and even good bacteria lose strength. Establishing fixed times to sleep, avoiding canvas at night, and creating a relaxation ritual are simple steps that make a huge difference in intestinal health. Habit 6. Control stress. Stress is silent but corrosive. Hormones such as cortisol, when in excess, weaken the intestine barrier, increasing permeability. This is why so many people feel stomach pain in times of tension. Breathing techniques, exercise, meditation, and even pleasurable hobbies help balance this impact. Taking care of the mind is as important as taking care of food when it comes to intestinal health. These 4 habits, probiotic, conscious use of medicines, quality sleep, and stress control, complete the package of the 6 scientific steps that help close the permeable gut. They are not quick tricks, but a lifestyle that rebuilds your health from the inside out. And before we go to the closing, it already takes advantage and activates the bell of notifications. So, whenever I put a new video with practical strategies to take care of your health, you get firsthand. In the next chapter, let's tie everything. You will understand how to put these 6 habits into practice simply, without radicalism, and a way that fits your routine. And then, we saw the 6 scientific habits that help close the doors of the permeable gut. Reduce ultra, processed, and sugars, include prebiotic fibers, reinforce with probiotics, use conscious medications, sleep well, and control stress. Each may seem small alone, but together they form a true shield to their gut. Interestingly, these habits act as a continuous cycle. The more you apply, the more your body strengthens, and the more strengthened it is, the easier it is following the next steps. It is like a positive snowball effect for health. And do you know what is better? This cycle need not be complicated. Small daily changes, change a sugary drink for water, include a banana or a yogurt at breakfast, respecting your sleep time, are already beginning to rebuild your intestine. The more consistent they are, the faster you feel the results. Now, if you have found this video useful, how about clicking on like and helping me show this information to more people who suffer from digestive symptoms? And you already take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't lose any video that teaches you how to take care of the real gut. But here's the final touch. If you want to take an even more advanced step, I have prepared a special video that reveals 9 little-known secret habits that can cure irritable bowel syndrome right now. These habits are different from anything most people have ever heard. Some of them are simple to apply, but few know they really work. So, after applying the 6 habits we learned today, click on the next video and find out how to take your intestine health to another level. I confess that some of these secrets will surprise you and can change the way you see your diet and routine. Remember, the healthy gut is the basis of a lighter, less inflamed, and energy-filled life. Put into practice, repeat the steps, and keep learning. And in the meantime, it gets connected here on the channel, because each video is an extra brick in the construction of your intestinal health. Click the screen now and watch the next video.